Okay, friends, we're live again. Uh, yeah, I think I'm doing this right. Check, check. 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is now part 2 of the Epiphone Les Paul 100 nut repair. It took too long, way too long, to clean up the nut shelf. Yeah, so I thought it was going to take a 2-minute break. It ended up being a little bit more than 2 minutes. Let's get back to work. Okay. We have strings here. Yeah, not files. I really like the Music Nomad diamond files. They could be better. There are some opportunities for improvements, but they're basically good. And I just need to put my switcher here on the phone. I don't think anyone is watching just yet. I'm streaming this outside, so it says 1 viewer, but I don't think anyone's watching yet. No problem. Yeah, okay. Let's get to work. I always do this with a microscope. And let's see. Maybe this time I will use this new neck rest that I just bought, that I've been meaning to buy for quite a while. I do have one that I made myself, but it's not here. It's in the other shop. Yeah, I think I like this. It's nice and sturdy. For this job, I think it's better than this. Okay. Yeah, so this is standard strings, 10 to 46 gauge. And here we go. We have the nut files clutter here on the workbench. And I will start with a, well, I don't even think I need to file the low E string, but I do want to check it, see if it's good. Okay, so we want it to be tight here. It's very tight, you can see that. And we want a little slack at the back end. And that's really good. I think we're completely fine on this one. I did check the height, and I didn't even measure it, but I can tell you that this is the right height. When I tap it, I can hear a little space, but I can almost not see it. Okay, so I'm not gonna even touch this one. So now we move this just a little bit so that I can focus on this other string. And let's have a look. This string needs to be tighter. Okay, so now it looks tighter, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Now, when I look at this gap, man, I don't think I even need to file this one either. Uh, in fact, I need to bring my ear here. I don't know if the microphone is picking this up, but I can hear a little clicking when I tap, which means these two strings are perfect. And now this one, there's also a very tiny little gap. I'm not even going to file it. So this is just lucky. So I was not lucky with the cleanup of the nut shelf, but this is good. I want to make sure that the string is nicely seated in the nut. It's a bit loose, so I want to tighten it. Yeah. Once again, I'm using a magnifying glass for the side. And again, I'm going to put the microphone here. I don't know if you can hear this. But I can hear a little click, click, click. Same on this one. Yeah, once again, I just don't know how much the microphone picks up, and I think you can hear the band in the background. So these three strings are good. This might be a short video because I want to do the setup the fretwork separately, and then the setup separately. So two more live streams after this one, I think. And now let's look at the other three strings. They're a bit loose. Okay, so why don't we start with a high E? I don't have much to file. Even on the treble side. This is the high E here. If we look at the bottom of the string slot, we can see that it's not properly shaped, okay? So, but the good news is it's still high, right? But this is the takeoff point. So this, the takeoff point should be here, not here, right? And we need to file it down. So here I'm using a 10 gauge file for the 10 gauge string. Okay, and clean up. So this string is a bit rusty. This looks better, and obviously I need to check the height. It's still too high, which is good news in this case. So, all right, let's remove the string. Yeah, it's a bit rusty, but it's fine. Okay. we want to do as much work as possible with the old strings, because we don't want to fatigue a new set of strings. And what I'll do is I will leave these slightly higher because the nut is not glued yet, and I want to just touch up once I do put the actual strings on. Because we'll also do a little bit of fret work that's going to remove a little material from the frets as well. So I'm just eyeballing it just to get through this. Always clean the file and the string slot. Okay, I'll leave it like this. It's a bit high. Maybe I can go a little deeper still. So I do like to take measurements, but like I said, right now I'm just rough fitting it. So no need to take measurements right now. Let's leave it like this. And now move on to the B string. So we're 12 minutes into this, and I do have a little audience. Maybe if there's an audience, maybe I'll jump right into the fretwork. Yeah, how about that? Maybe. Let's see. Let's play it by ear. Yeah. A bit high. Yeah. So for this one, we need to use this file, which is a 13 gauge. I don't like to use these plastic handles. Not at all. Okay, so same thing here. We can see that the string was seated here, not at the tip, but here. Clearly, that's not good. So we need to cut it deeper here. I am keeping the file slanted a little bit. And now, if you look through the microscope, this is how the string moves through the string slot. So that's why we don't want to have string binding. And even when you play a solo, you bend the string, it actually moves. I'm bending it now, right? And here, let's check the height. Still too high. So honestly, I wish this is an all parts, not blank. I wish they made it a little thicker in this direction from here to here, and a little higher in this upwards direction, right? But you know, this is what it is, and what can I do? We don't have a big margin here. So I'm doing this to open up the back end of the nut on the string slot. Yeah, this is the type of work I actually do every day. It's nice and tight. Okay, it's well seated, but I think I want to go just a little bit deeper. And that's it. Okay, good for now. All right. And now we move on to the G string. So I had a big audience before. Now I have 4 people watching. One of them is my phone, so three of you watching. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, same thing. We want to remove the string, and first, I know it's too high. I already looked at it. Now we want to remove the string from the G string slot, and we can see a witness point right here again. Okay, again away from the front, which once again is not good. On this one, we have a break angle towards the tuning post. So I'm opening up the back a little bit towards the tuning post, so we don't have string binding. Let's see. Yeah, I really wish this nut blank was made a little higher, taller. You can see that I'm holding the file at an angle like this a little bit, right? That's intentional. And I think it's self-explanatory why. So that's that, and now we check the height. Minimal height. I mean, we're still away from the fret, but I think I want to leave it there. So this is what I see through the microscope. This is how it was shaped. We still have a lower point here at the very front, so we need to file it a little bit lower. We simply need to do this. and I hope it's not going to be too low. But like I said, we need to do a little bit of fret work. And let's have a look now. This is better. Still not 100%. And now let's hope that it's good. All right, I'll remove the string and let's see. I need to recalibrate my microscope. It gets out of focus when I zoom out. I knocked something the other day. Yeah, so if I look here, there's still a minimal gap. And now if I look at the string slot, I think you can see this. Now that shiny witness point moved all the way to the edge. And that's exactly what we want, all right? So, we're lucky, right? Because we don't want it to be too low. What am I gonna do now? I could... I have a few options. Because we still need to shape the sides of the nut. So I could do that. I need to glue it in first. Yeah, why don't we do that? Okay. We're 24 minutes into this part 2 of this series. I didn't start a playlist, but I think I'm going to start a playlist on this project. I didn't think I would need to start a playlist. Okay. 6 people watching, and I need glue. I'm going to use Tide Bond, maybe, or maybe fish glue. I do have fish glue. It's in the fridge. Yeah. Why don't I use fish glue? So I'll be right back. The fridge is over there. I am opening the fridge. And here's the fish glue. Okay, so this is a fish glue. It's glue made from fish. So that's why we call it fish glue, obviously. It's a bit, too viscous right now because it's cold. But yeah, I can still do this. Okay, let's remove the strings right now. so I can remove the nut. Okay, so this is the plan. I'm going to glue it in, and the strings are going to hold the nut in position, and I will be shaping the two sides of the nut as the glue is doing its thing, right? So once again, I need now this neck rest to put the strings on the side. All right. Once again, I wish the all parts not blank was a bit oversized, and it wasn't. So as a result, it's like this, and I don't like that. It should be tighter, right? So I'm gonna have to put more glue than I really want to. I'm gonna put some glue here and a little bit on the bottom, okay? So the way we can do this when the glue is still kind of stiff is I'm just gonna mix a little bit of glue here on this surface. It's like a gel now. Like a big booger. Yeah, so I guess some of you must have been watching part 1, and I took a break. I thought it was going to be a 2-minute break. It ended up being more, maybe a 10-minute break. I lost track of time. I don't know. Because I had to respond to some text messages and make a phone call. Here. I am trying to pull a piece out. I already did, and here's another piece, right? And now, you know, this is kind of warm, so the piece will warm up and become you know, like this. So while this is doing its thing, I can take the glue back, put it in the fridge. Okay, once again, the fridge is over there. I don't have a camera. This is the kitchen. This is where the coffee machine is. The coffee machine that keeps me awake at night, working late. Speaking of coffee, there's a link you can click on that says buy me a coffee if you think you want to buy me a coffee. Thank you if you do, no big deal if you don't. All right. Now, okay. Yeah, this is not really how I want to do it, but it's the way it is. And it's either this, or I would need to cut from a complete blank, and then I would need to charge more for that job, significantly more. So I'm gonna have to put more glue than I really want to. And I don't like doing that, especially not archived on YouTube. That's really not how I do it. But I'm clearly doing it now. Alright, that's that. And one dot here. And one dot here. I think we're good. And maybe on this side. Yeah, because it's kind of loose, so so it's a little bit loose, but not too loose. If it was looser than this, I really wouldn't be doing it like this, okay? And here's a tip. If you need to clamp a knot like this, you can easily do it with this little gadget. What is here? Okay, so a capo, right? I just can put a capo like this. But the way I'm going to do it now is I'm simply going to put these strings back on. All right. The strings are going to clamp this nut, so I don't need a capo. And we want to tighten the 2E strings first. Okay. Not to any specific pitch, but, you know, kind of by feel. And I'm making sure, I'm just eyeballing that the nut is in the right position. If I need to push it a little bit, which I do, then I just push it a little bit. I'm looking at the space from the edge. Yeah, I was just watching a Ken Parker video. He says he likes to put a tiny bit more space on the treble side. But in this case, I don't think it's important because there's so much space. Yeah, it's not close enough to the edge to be slipping off. All right. I'm monitoring the position of the knot as I am tightening the strings. And I don't care about pitch. I'm more trying to achieve balanced tension. And I'm just double checking those gaps. Yeah, So it's oversized, left and right. I wish it was oversized in terms of height and thickness as well, but it isn't. It's only oversized in terms of length. And, you know, yeah, I wish. But it isn't the way I want it to be. It's still much better than the original nut. At least we don't have a gap here. We had a big gap with the original nut, which is this one. So there was a big, humongous gap here. Yeah, we got some tear out. It was just not good, all right? Now we have this. And now we get ready to file the two sides. But first, maybe it's a good idea to remove this glue from the fret rocker. Oh, I got an audience. 9 people watching. Technically 8 people. Because I'm live streaming in the hallway through my phone. Okay, I did run out of juice last time on my computer, so here I'm charging the battery. All right, I will be using StewMac Jewelers files for this. Okay, that's these. Okay. And also some tape. The tape I like to use, like a general purpose tape, is the painter's tape, delicate surface 3M purple. I can put a link, an affiliate link again in the description, which pays me commission at no extra cost to you. Okay. Amazon says that I need to disclose this fact. All right. Simple. So now I need to put some tape on the side here. And I maintain a little gap, I'll show you. And then on this side as well. And here, obviously. This is it. Okay. So now I'm going to pull the microscope and show you how I maintain a little gap.
When I started my job, my career, it was like more travel. Now it's like I think that's like fun for like
Okay, I got some glue squeeze out. We're going to clean this later. Or maybe I can clean it now even. So this is the glue squeeze out right here. That's the fish glue, you see. Comes right off. Like I said, I do maintain a little gap. So when I file, I don't hit the, because this has its thickness, right? So if I put it all the way against the nut, I won't be able to file the nut flush with the finish. But this way, as you are going to see clearly, I'll be able to come all the way down to the finish. The one file I like to use is actually this one. It's flat and then a radius on the other side. Okay, that's my main file for this job, and I'll start removing some material here. Maybe I adjust the light here. Sometimes I put my thumb here. Yeah. So this surface is curved, right? So I want to kind of copy this surface. And I will remove this tape as soon as I start hitting it, because I want to make sure that I don't file through the tape. I'm not pushing down too hard. And past this line here, past this line, I want to file this way. Right? That's that. And clean up. Too much light, I think, for this camera. You see how I'm holding the headstock, obviously. There is a special stand for this work, and Stumax sells it. I want to make my own. I've been meaning to make my own. And I keep checking like this, okay? It's still high. As you can see, I'm using my thumb as a stop. And I do want to show you a quick view through the microscope. Wrong camera, right? But so here I have something, and I often improvise how I do this. But through the microscope, you can see how when I file, the dust keeps accumulating here because we have a step. The bone dust, in this case bone dust, because this is bone. Okay, and I check with my thumb, and I can feel that it's high. And now I wanna file this part. So if I make a line, sorry. So I want to file this part here, right? So I tilt my file in this direction. So right now there is an edge between the two flat surfaces. I will round it off later. And because I do have this accumulation of this powder, I monitor the height also like that.
Oh god. I've never been on a train.
And I keep touching, obviously.
I'm not a big tracer.
So this is a curved surface. So at one point I might turn the file around and use this curved radius edge of the file. I mean side of the file. Like I just did now.
That one of my friend's house that was a 30-minute walk away from my house. I kind of like drug this where I was like,
I can feel that I'm reducing the height of that step.
I just got in my car, whatever. And I got home. I was fine with the walk. And then I was at the first floor. I'm like,
I started scratching the tape here. So now I'm going to pay attention to this. I don't want to file through the tape, obviously.
the most clearly drunk I've ever been on both. Water. Water. I can go to the kitchen and get a big glass of water and say, like, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm walking through. Good night. One sip.
So I moved it, I tilted the file, but I also am starting to make this around it, curved like that. And I'm checking, and it's almost flush, right? So this little gap between the tape and the workpiece is actually making it possible for me to file all the way down to the finish. Sometimes I need to move this tape a little bit and even increase this little gap like I'm doing now, so that I can ride my file on top of the tape and hit the bottom of this nut at the same height as the tape. But you see, the surface is actually curved in this direction, right? So
Yeah, and it also then feels like,
so that's how I get it lined up.
but I've just been eating out.
And as long as I have this little pocket of powder accumulating like this, I know that I still have a step.
Trader Joe's dumplings or something. It's not real cooking, it's just like eating up.
Now I need to slow down.
Well, that's a whole other thing. I ordered it's good. You ever get from Lazaro?
I can see and I can feel that I'm approaching the surface,
Now I go to Lazaro and I just get like the Epiphone
and you know, I almost don't feel anything, but there's still a little bit of a step there.
dressing thing on top of it too. It's like $9. So it's like a full meal. Really? Oh yeah. I'm so bummed. My roommate puts this really good sandwich.
This is a bone nut, right? I can make a bone nut very shiny, like a tooth almost. But we won't be doing this on this guitar. So now, because I'm so close to the surface, I'm actually going to be using this part of the file, this side of the file. And just hitting it at a diagonal, and then this way. Okay. Filing a guitar nut is like doing jewelry work. It is in fact precision work. Or sometimes I like to think of it as dentistry. And for something like this, you'd be paying a dentist, I don't know, $750 maybe or more to do a filling like this. So we don't charge enough. I'm in the wrong business. So it looks like I hit the finish a little bit. We can buff that out because I didn't file through the finish. It's just a surface scratch, easy to buff if we choose to do so. Now I am filing this part, right, the upper part. And now I can do this. And now I can move the tape a little closer. In fact, I want to move this tape, turn it around. You see I did hit the finish a little bit. Just like that. Okay. And I want to take some sandpaper. This is P600 grit. And because this is, the tape is higher, right? I'm not going to be hitting the finish there, hopefully. You can see this very clearly, how I'm doing this. See, my idea for these live streams was not to do tutorials. And here I find myself doing a tutorial. I think some people do want tutorials. The sandpaper is also going to touch the actual edge and this corner. There's this corner that shouldn't be left sharp, right? Because our hand might hit it. Yeah, that's okay. That's better. Okay. I think for now that's okay, right? Now let's do the other side. We can always come back to it, right? Which I think I will do. I like to reuse tape if I can, because I paid for it. That's what we got. Okay, this is just powder, dust. I'm sorry, yeah, bone dust. Yeah, I think there's too much light for this camera exposure. So I did hit a little bit of the finish there on the side, but it's not a big deal. That's easily buffable. Buffable. I don't know if that's an English word. It can easily be buffed out. Maybe that's the proper way to say it. Now, let's turn the guitar around. And yeah, there's a little bit of a glue residue there, which we can and will clean up easily. It's just fish glue, right? See, it just flakes off like this. No big deal. Normally, I would really not get a squeeze out on a nut, but because this was slightly undersized, as I already explained, I had to put more glue than I normally would. If you want to see me make a nut that fits exactly, I did it recently in another live stream, or maybe even two. I think it was the bass, refretting the jazz bass, and maybe even another live stream. I can't remember now. Recently. So, I think it was the bass, yeah, because I had to fix the nut shelf. Was it the bass? Yeah, I think so. So the nut was a friction fit. If we have a nut shelf that's actually a slot, for example, on a classical guitar, on a good quality classical guitar, you wouldn't use glue at all. It would be a friction fit. But even on a Gibson guitar, let's say, or Fender, if you get a good friction fit and it's really not moving, don't use glue. Yeah. No need to use glue. In fact, it's better not to. Okay. I'm gonna put this here. And I feel like I need to put something here. And I should. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Let's get yeah, I often improvise with these things. That's how it is. So we have this thing. Tape dispenser. All right. I think we're good. Kind of. We have sorry, I'm yawning. The nut here, seen through the microscope. Let's tape it up. Same thing. I'm going to maintain a small gap. I can still see a little bit of glue here at the back end. But fish glue is really not a problem. We can clean it up later. This is it. Okay. And now this side. So it kind of is the same thing and it kind of isn't, because we are hitting it. So we can try to hit it from the back like this, okay, by placing this hand in this position, or we can also work in this direction and then hold the headstock like this and file it like that. Again, because we have a step, because this is above this surface, we see an accumulation right here, and we should be monitoring that. And it's important to keep your files clean. I tap it like this. This is just a little bit of bone dust. If you don't pack it in, if you tap it often enough, you know, you clean it easily. Just like that. So a nut doesn't always take as much time. It just depends how lucky I am. This one took longer. Unfortunately for me. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing live streams. Some projects will be simply charged by the hour, so that it's fair. This one isn't, so this one is charged as a flat fee, as an estimate, but I'm not changing it. So this will be part 2, and then I will take a break, and part 3 will be the fretboard, fret dressing. So that's what's coming up. So I don't know if you noticed, but I'm using this part of the file instead of this part of the file, and that's because I'm putting more pressure, so it's easier to control. And here we can see that we are in fact well, we're still high, but obviously not as high as we were at the beginning. And sometimes I do hit the finish, but then if I don't burn through the finish, it's relatively easy to buff the surface. Okay, getting there. You see my finger, my nail is still getting stuck, so it is in fact higher. There's a step. There's still a step. So this is quite a relatively large surface to file, which is why I like to alternate between this surface and then tilting the file in this direction and doing this part. Because then when I go back to the main surface, I've just reduced the surface area. And here we want to kind of align it with the edge here. I am pushing it down quite hard now, which is why I'm holding the file like this, and I'm finding close to where my grip is, where I'm gripping it. Okay. It's still high, but I want to work on this part. I'm going to continue working on this part. And again, it's to reduce that surface area. Now you can see there's an accumulation here. Okay, because I have a break angle here. And now maybe I'll work on this area. Keep checking. I can. I also know that it's higher because I'm hovering above this tape and I'm not even scratching it. So it's important to know the signs, you know, how to monitor it. Now this tape is no longer good, and we need to flip it around or change it altogether. Obviously, I want to remove the dust first. So maybe this side of the tape is still good. like this. Okay. So this part isn't something I can easily show on camera. I mean, yeah, I'm showing it on camera, but how I'm actually matching the height. And because we are kind of approaching the finish line, right? I'm in fact rounding off this so we don't have that corner there, that break angle. And just like I did on the other side, I can use now this side of the file to just hit the high spots more easily. And I just quickly flipped it around. I can't even feel a difference in height. So that said, I am going to take that sandpaper You can also start with P400 sandpaper, or even finish it with P400. I actually want to round off this thing a little more because I can still see that little edge, which might not show up on camera. I don't really know. I'm not looking at the screen right now. That corner and this edge, and now sandpaper. Okay. So now, this feels good. The original nut was never as flush as this is. I can now dismantle my this barricade, whatever it is. And yeah, we can do some sanding of the top and the back as well. Obviously, we need to remove the strings. So it is safe to remove the strings now because even if the glue is not 100% dry, technically speaking, it's no longer a gel or a liquid. So we can remove the strings. And that's it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. In fact, I'll cut them off now. And we are also going to change the tuning machines, all of them, because one of them is broken. And they're just, you know, the kind of tuning machines that break a lot. I'm still going to put a budget set of tuning machines because that's what's in the budget for this project. Rule number one of doing any setup is, you know, try to adjust the truss rod first to make sure it works. In fact, I already did that before I started working on this, so you didn't see me do it in part one, but I did do just that when I was doing the initial assessment of the guitar. I learned from my own mistakes. It's not a good idea to just take a guitar in and start doing a setup, you know, start cleaning it and doing everything else, and then now let's adjust the truss rod. Oh, it's maxed out, it doesn't work. But you've already done all that other work. So yeah, rule number one, if you're going to be working on a guitar, you will be doing some kind of setup, right, as part of the service. Check the truss rod first. Second thing you want to check are the tuners, the tuning machines, which is why I always unwind the strings, because once again, I don't want to do all the work and then find out that one of the tuning machines isn't working. So I'd rather know that at the beginning. So how do you know the strings haven't been changed in a while? You see, you get this kind of string binding. I'm trying to push the string out and it doesn't want to come out. All right, so maybe I want to show you this on this camera. This often happens with strats, okay, or strat style bridges. The string gets stuck inside of that. And how do you deal with this? If you have a like this, an Allen key, you just push it out. That's it. But I just wanted to show you how impossible it was to actually push it out. And I do recycle strings, so I have a recycling bin right here, and that's where they go for now, and then they get sent out. It's a bolt-on neck, So obviously, it would be beneficial to remove the neck. And I am going to do that. And then I'll just clean the fretboard with the neck off. So I always start with a hand-driven screwdriver, just to make sure that everything is turning as expected, and then to speed up the process. Yeah, I do have this. Yeah, do I really need to change the camera angle here? Okay, here it is. You can see how this was not drilled properly, so the screws should never be gripping through the body. I should be able to pull it out now, so that's something else we need to work on. They're just lazy. Okay. There. Okay, put it here for now. Yeah, so this is the... See? It's not gonna move. I'm just gonna leave it like this. And here is the body. Let's look at the neck pocket. Sometimes you see a whole bunch of sawdust there. So this time you can see it here. Okay, because it was upside down, but that's the sawdust. So the neck was not really well seated. So what I like to do with bolt-on necks is this. I just take a countersink and I just do this a little bit by hand. Okay. Just so there's a little funnel here. Okay. And now okay, but we need to enlarge those holes. I have a set of fractional, I can't remember, I think it's 166 pieces, and in fact I can put a Amazon link, affiliate link in the description. Where's my caliper? So if you buy through the affiliate link, I'm required to say that I get a small commission at no extra cost to you. All right. It's a required thing that I need to say if I use affiliate links. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about this. Okay, here it is. So these are the screws. The hole through the body. Sorry about the noise, I don't know what's happening. with the rehearsals. Needs to be big enough for this screw to just go through, not to grab the wood fibers, right? So we simply take, so this fractional set isn't metric, it's imperial. So we choose 0 out in inches, right? And we measure this is 0.164, okay? That's it. And now I look for 0.166. This is it, number 19. Usually I use on a fender number 18, which is 0.169. So I'll try 0.166. It's slightly smaller. And let's do some drilling. Now I put this in this mode. And I start in reverse, push down a little bit, and now continue in clockwise direction. So this might not be big enough because this is soft wood, and the drill bit compresses the wood fibers as it tries to drill through. So it's really tight. So as you can see, this isn't the right size. And in fact, I'm going to have to use not the number 19 drill bit, but I'll have to use the number 18 drill bit, just like on a fender. So that was the number 19. Now number 18, which is 0.169. But like I said, it's not going to drill a hole of this size because this wood gets compressed a little bit. It gets squished and then it recoils back. So I can feel that this hole isn't even drilled at a 90-degree angle. They drill it by hand at the factory. So in reverse first, and then like this. Okay. So it's a bit warm now. If I put it like this, and if I put the other one, the number 19, which should be a little loose now, there, you can see how they're not parallel, right? So this was not drilled on the drill press. So all of these Epiphone guitars and Squire guitars are the same way. The holes are drilled with a hand drill, not on the drill press. Now I just want to check, verify that these screws do go through. You see, they go through and they're tight. Okay, that's how it should be. But like I said, they just drill it by placing the neck in the neck pocket. Well, before I show you, let me put this away. So this is a must have a tool for, or tool, yeah, for any guitar shop. I use it all the time. Very useful. So let me show you my theory. So the way I think they manufacture these guitars is like this. They just put the neck in the neck pocket, flip the guitar over, take a hand drill with one size drill bit and drill 4 holes after they put the neck plate here. And then they just put the screws, which is why we find the same size hole through the body as we find through the neck. But now let's think about that. Because these holes are not at a 90-degree angle against the surface. The holes that end up here are, well, all over the place. And you can clearly see that if you look at the neck pocket. Look at the distance between the edge and the hole here, and the edge and the hole here. So much bigger distance here than here. I mean, it's just so obvious you don't even need to measure, which means the neck from one Epiphone or from one Squire might not fit on the body of another Epiphone or Squire of the same exact model. All right, so unlike a Fender, these holes, or a higher end guitar, these holes are drilled separately on the neck, and then the body is made separately, and they don't come together until they screw it in. But even so, I find it that often Fender doesn't use a large enough drill bit for these holes through the body. Okay, so that's that. Now, I'll put the body here for now. There's a loud band rehearsing. I don't know how much of it you can hear. And we are going to remove the tuning machines because we're changing the tuners. All right, let's do that. They keep opening the door. Yeah, it happens. Okay, I think somebody walks out or something. Yeah, I always start with a hand screwdriver, right? Just to make sure that everything's turning. And then, so this is a different size driver bit than the size for the neck pocket, right? And also this one is slim, okay? And the other one is thick. So even if it was a pointier bit, if it was this diameter, it wouldn't fit here. It would be damaging the side of the tuning machine. But this one is slim enough, and that's why I buy these for this exact purpose. Okay. I think this one needs a little more. Okay, and The screws are gonna fall out. Nothing to it. And I take a 10 millimeter socket screwdriver and I remove the bushings. They were loose anyway. Yes, so now that tuning machines are off, I can do any cleaning or polishing or buffing or buffing of the headstock veneer, obviously. That's the best time to do it. And we can do the sanding of this, the nut, right? So that's like this. And here. That's 600 grit sandpaper. Like I said earlier, oh, and I want to hit the corners as well. Like I said earlier, I can get a bone nut very smooth and shiny, but we're not doing it on this guitar because that takes time and it ups the budget, and I didn't even offer this option for this guitar because, you know, because of the fact that it's an Epiphone, and you know, I don't want to I don't want to upsell every single project. Okay. So I like the way they shaped the top of this nut. It's better shaped than what we see on Epiphone guitars, because it's curved in this direction, so the string slots aren't too long, so we don't get we're not likely to get string binding, but they should have made it a little bit oversized, and it wasn't. Maybe I will write to them. I'm not sure if they take feedback like that. I never wrote to all parts. I'm sure they take feedback. Maybe I will. Or perhaps if you guys want to write to them, you know, it helps the industry. I'm also hitting the side. Yeah, like this. So I folded this, and I'm careful not to go past the edge. But I want that thing to be smooth and curved, and all the corners, I don't want any sharp corners. So like I said, sometimes it gets loud here, which is why I often use the other microphone, dynamic headset mic. I also don't want to have any copyright strikes because people play music. It's not my music. And when this channel gets monetized, you know, that can become an issue. But you don't hear the tool sounds when I have that dynamic microphone next to my mouth. Okay. So now, if I want to work on the headstock, veneer, I can protect the nut. Yeah, I'll try to just buff it out a little bit. I really don't want to spend too much time on this, and I'm not going to use. So I don't know if you watched the previous live streams, but there's some finish missing here. Actually, part of the headstock veneer. It was like that, but then I had to reglue this and this part here. But most of it is going to be covered like that. So, so yeah, I can buff it a little bit, but I don't want to spend too much time. This is not one of those projects. So what I'm using here is the Music Nomad. It's called Guitar Polish. It's actually a buffing paste, buffing compound. You can feel the grit. You can feel the grit under your finger, right? And I will just take a paper towel, just like this. So let me just do this quickly. I won't turn the camera now, because I need to finish this. Okay, so because it's an abrasive, I think it's going to buff out those imperfections that were kind of visible. And then I just buff out the whole headstock veneer. Yeah, everything got buffed out. So now if I show you through the microscope, yeah, you're gonna see some little hairline fractures there. But let's not get carried away. Some people actually like finish checking anyway, right? Just from a practical point of view, when I put this here, I don't see anything. It looks fine. I would literally have to put it under a microscope and try to find hairline fractures that won't bother anyone. Okay. Oh yeah. This is what I mean to show you. It's fine, right? It's perfectly fine. So this is good. Now, I said I wanted to buff out that little finish thing on the side, and I will do it right now. So that's not overkill. That's justifiable. And same thing, I I just take a little bit of this. I'll put a link for that as well. And so if you watch the replay, there will be some links, some additional links. There are already some links in the description. Okay, so with a paper towel, and it's all buffed out. It's even getting the side of the nut buffed out and shiny. So let's do this side now just to match. Okay, what's up? Yeah, so a nut replacement isn't a quick job. Now, I do charge more than most shops, but yeah, this looks good. Look at that. Okay, this looks good. It's nice and smooth. Yeah, I'm real happy with this. Yeah. So if this was a more expensive guitar, I would have offered the service of, you know, completely buffing this shiny, the nut, but we're not doing that. I had to be realistic, right? Since I have this tape here, and since we'll be doing some fret work here, why don't I use this tape? Because I do like to reuse things and protect the nut. This tape is great because it rips like this. Again, I'll put a link to this tape. It's safe for most finishes, not for all finishes. But that's my go-to general tape. Okay, so it rips like this, and then I can double it up without using two pieces of tape. So I just rip one piece in half and make two pieces out of one. I'll be doing the frets. Yeah, so the nut takes longer than anything else, I think, on the guitar. And I take my time, and I do charge more than regular shops. I'm a regular shop. I didn't mean it that way. Than the average cost. That's what I meant. Yeah. In fact, the first thing that a customer sees is this sign. So this is on my outside bench, and this is what the sign says. All right, old Chinese proverb. So that's here. The other sign that the customer sees is this one. Okay. So, and you know, those are the signs. They are signs. There's a message there, but then, you know, I discuss things. I like to discuss things very briefly before customers come here, right? So I work by appointment only. That's how I like to do it. Okay, friends. How many of you are watching? 5 of you. So if you liked it, if you're still watching, that means you liked it. just give it a thumbs up, please. DK, hey everyone, hope all is well. Well, I hope so too. For most people. Robbie's guitars, nuts are just nuts. Crazy hard to get just right. Well done, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Robbie's guitars. Brian, I came back late. Do you need a new nut for every different set of string gauges? No, but I'll talk about that in a video. So if a nut is like a fender nut with deep string slots and it's cut, let's say, for nines typically, right, which is what Fender guitars come with from the factory, well, on 95% of Fender guitars you can actually put 10s and you don't need to enlarge the string slots. On occasion I've seen guitars that will not take every string from a 10 pack, right, and you do need to enlarge at least that one string slot. Sometimes what happens also is how it's cut. So if you put a string, so let's say this is a thicker string. Can I use this? Well, I'll be able to use this for something that I want to show. Okay, so let's say, look, perfect match. Let's say this is a string from a 9 to 42 gauge pack, and let's say that this was cut perfect, and it's a perfect match. Okay, so now what happens if you put a bigger string there? But this is more like a Gibson style nut, right? A Fender style nut would be cut with the two sidewalls, right? So let's say now you put, what am I looking for? A roll, something. Okay, I do need to dismantle this. I know, big deal. This is bigger, right? No, it's about the same size. I need a bigger diameter or something to explain what I want to say. How about this? Okay, so now if it doesn't sit well, you can see that gap, okay? A bigger, larger diameter string. So it kind of is seated in the nut and it's not wobbling, but because it's a bigger diameter string, only the two sides of the string are actually anchored in the nut, but not the bottom. And I don't think that's good. Too much pressure on the two sides, and I don't think that's good, right? So the best scenario is a fit like this, slightly open on the sides, which would be something maybe like this, where it's slightly open on the two sides. So now, how do you avoid, you know, the string doing this and wobbling inside? Well, you need the right pitch and the right break angle so that you actually have the pressure point at the tip of the nut, right? Now, let's say you buy a Fender, it's cut for 9s, 10s fit perfectly inside, no problem, because they do cut it a little bit oversized. No problem, you don't need to file the nut, but usually for 11s, you do. And and that's because otherwise you will get string binding. So a fender nut is cut kind of like a U channel, right? And the string will simply get stuck there. So you do need to open the string slots for the 11s. But usually it's going to be more on the bass side of the guitar than on the treble side. Okay, Brian? I was told if I go from 10s to 9s, I would ideally need a new nut and vice versa. So you don't need a new nut if you go, oh yeah, from 10s to 9. Okay, so that's a good question. No, because like I said, if you have okay, let me take something that's a smaller diameter. How about this? So that's a smaller diameter string. You go from 10s to 9s, okay? It's not going to be that big of a difference, right? Focus? Yeah. But if you have the right pitch, like that, and you have that pressure point here, the string will vibrate without moving like this. Now, as you know, I look through the microscope and I can analyze that. You also want to listen to the sound, and you want to listen to the intonation, because if the string is not seated in the right place in the nut, you can't achieve the right intonation on the guitar, because the scale length of the guitar is in fact extended towards the headstock, but the frets are in the same position as for, you know, a shorter scale length, or the actual scale length that the guitar is designed to be. If that makes sense, yeah? Robbie, thumbs up, thank you. And Robbie, good info, thank you. Okay, friends, so why don't I take a break, and next live stream will be in maybe 10, maybe 20 minutes. I'll work on the fretboard, okay? Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.